Good afternoon. Good afternoon. तो सबको पंच प्रण मिल गए हैं 5 promises. वैसे it's not part of optional. But what is the point of teaching you optional if you don't clear? So that is why from now on, of course we'll not take you cannot submit it to us, but इसका फोटो स्टेट करा लो और अपने पास हर हफ्ते मॉनिटरिंग करो. मतलब जीएस बच्चों की मॉनिटरिंग हम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आप लोग भी अपनी अपनी मॉनिटरिंग इसके ऊपर रखो. यू ऑल हैव टू मॉनिटर योर एक्टिविटीज. फॉर ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स it will get uploaded. It's like 5 promises. 5 promises means like 5 activities that you should be doing for your time management. So you can see the 7 boxes. So these 7 boxes are for 7 days. So all these 7 days you have to keep a check that are you able to do and complete everything. Fine? Okay. So let us, you have got the notes for Spinoza. For online people also it is getting uploaded. We have created detailed notes. The reason is some people are really hungry for content. So I thought why not to, give it. So these are extensive notes. Read it once. And there are very few areas which might not be very relevant for our exam. But yes, reading always helps. Fine? Okay. Philosophy of Spinoza. Any doubts from last day's class? Ma'am, time management, what? Time, I have created, show. So online students, we have created a kind of a document to keep weekly tab of time management as well as to track your performance in studies. So this is for our GS batch, but I thought why not to distribute it here also so that you people can also track your performance. Okay. Ma'am, world follows God and God is bound by his own nature. Can you explain this line, please? So God is self-determined. Can you understand this term? Self-determined means that it determines its own nature. Nobody guides it. Nobody guides the world. Nobody guides the God or nature. It has its own rules. So this means self-determined means own rules, own nature, and nobody can change it. Everything is determined. सब कुछ determined है. And from this self-determined own rules means God is equal to world, is equal to nature, is equal to universe. All of these things mean the same thing. Different nomenclature only. This means that universe is run by, or the world is run by its own nature. That nature is the nature of God. So, ma'am, world follows God means world is following just the substance. वहीं से deduce किया है हमने. And it is self-determined and follows the natural laws only. So, in this world, according to Spinoza, everything works according to fixed laws. And fixed, there is this fixed nature of how things work. For every effect, there will be a cause. And for that cause also, there must have been another cause. So all the things are linked by cause and effect, cause and effect. This is the natural law. This is how things will be. And this is fixed. This is determined. And this is the nature of God or world. Fine? So I told you in the last class also that the intuition which we understand in layman's language is very different from the real meaning of intuitive knowledge. In general parlance, in general conversations, we generally say, I have got an intuition. Intuition means that I know something which was not there. We understand it like this, but this is not the correct meaning or the philosophical meaning of intuition. Intuition means, or intuitive knowledge means, something which is without any mediation, direct. Direct knowledge is known as intuitive knowledge. So, if we try to understand knowledge, then there is this sensory knowledge. Sensory knowledge means based on sense organs, like eyes, nose, all these things which we sense and get the knowledge of is sensory knowledge. Second is rational knowledge, or knowledge based on reason. So here we are not sensing, but we are arguing, we are deducing something from one thing from the other. This is rational knowledge. This is based on mind and generally innate ideas. Haven't we have studied this? Rational knowledge. There is another third kind of knowledge which is known as intuitive knowledge. यहाँ पे किसकी जरूरत थी? Sense organs. यहाँ पे किसकी जरूरत थी? Mind. This is the third kind of knowledge which is direct. No mediation. Nothing. Here you don't need sense organs. You don't need reason. Not required. It is the direct intuitive knowledge. Like something which can be understood like the knowledge of yogis. So when they see your future or when they see your past, they don't see it like a past. They see it as if you see the different screens. Just as you see the screens, you see something directly, it is as clear as that, but it's not sensations and it is not based on reason. It is another kind of knowledge. And this kind of intuitive kind of knowledge is very rare. And rather it is the highest level of knowledge. In Plato also we saw the highest knowledge is intuitive knowledge, isn't it? Similarly in Spinoza, you can know this world, you can try to understand this world through reason, but you will not know completely, because to know completely means to have intuition about the things. To understand it like this, people can tell about, so we people can tell 10 rules of good friend, or 10 rules of love, and 10 rules of this, that. You can read number of things. You can talk about it. But the real thing is always very different. A person who can talk about love but has never felt in love. समझ में आ रहा है? तो उसको भी पता है ना? That person is also having some knowledge about it. But the feeling of it, the experience of it is really intense. So person who has had an intuitive knowledge, the highest order of knowledge. So for that person, the substance with infinite attributes is not just an arbitrary abstract thing. For that person who has had intuitive knowledge, जिसको intuitive knowledge हो गई है, उसको दिख रहा है ये, उसको दिख रहा है कि this person is nothing, just a modification of substance. Suppose to understand this in the sense, एक और example से समझते हैं इसको. We create a world out of clay, supposedly, है ना? And in this world out of clay, everything is made up of clay only. But will any character in this world of clay will ever know that everything is made up of clay? He himself is made up of clay. Is it easy? No. It's not easy. It's absolutely not easy. But supposedly, this person goes to such an extent in reason that he gains a level जहाँ पे उसको समझ आने लगे, जहाँ से this person gains an understanding that maybe the world is made up of clay. अब ये जो understanding है, ये कैसी knowledge है? So if people living in this world, we are all made up of substance, we can talk about it, we can think about it, we are writing answers about it according to Spinoza. We are doing all this. So at the max, we are using our reason to understand it. But the moment we start seeing this substance in each other, the moment we actually realize that there is no difference between this table and me, it's just the difference of substance. बड़ी higher level spiritual बात हो रही है ये, समझ में आ रही है? It is a higher level spiritual talk that we are having. ये आंसर्स में नहीं लिखना, इसका आंसर से कोई मतलब लिखना चाहो तो लिख सकते हो, अगर कभी क्वेश्चन आ जाए, you can write it, but it's not what do you say, required at this level, but to make you understand. So this knowledge of directly knowing it is intuitive knowledge. Got it? Another example we can take is like video game. It's like video game. So supposedly this world is in a video game. We all are part of the video game where different challenges are given to us. But how would we know that we are in a video game? Will we ever know? Until unless we go out, we will always feel that this is real. समझ में आ रही है? Until and unless we go out and see that this is a video game. Something similar. Okay? Intuitive knowledge? But a triangle, square, or where is the personality of a triangle? What is the personality of a triangle? Attributes to substance की भी है, infinite, eternal, but there is no personality to triangle. Similarly, there is no personality to the god of Spinoza. कहीं नहीं आएगा. Intuitive knowledge has been accepted by all mystics. So, देखो, right now you will not be able to understand what is intuitive knowledge, because we people have been too much accustomed by in sensory knowledge and in reason. To understand it like this, understand that can you imagine that you can see the future like you can see the present? No. Right now you cannot imagine this because you have never seen it. You have never seen it. So it is like you cannot believe that it can happen because you have been in a limited space. There has been some limitations on our understanding. ये सब Spinoza बोल रहा है, मैं नहीं बोल रही. पहली चीज. So we have been in a limited limitations. We have been under limitations. But yogis or people who do high order of meditation, high order of thinking, these people can access. अगर मैं अपने तरफ से समझाऊं किस बात को, we people are using only 2 or 3% of our brains. Not even मतलब ये स्पाइनोजा ने नहीं बोला, मैं बोल रही हूँ. हम अपना कितना सा यूज कर रहे हैं? 2-3%. लेकिन पोटेंशियल तो है ना 100% का. We have that potential. So if by certain practices, certain methods, if a person can access other parts of the brain also, can they have some other kind of knowledge also? Maybe that is intuitive knowledge. 98% of the DNA is what? Junk DNA. You know junk DNA. How many of you don't know about junk DNA? Okay. So only a small portion of our DNA is actually being used for proteins and other formations, and which have dedicated roles in our constitution of our body. But most of the DNA which is there, scientists have not been able to find out what role do that DNA plays. And it is known as junk DNA, and it's a big percentage. And there are certain researches that are going on. What is the role of this, so much DNA? So that DNA might have been associated with some extraordinary powers that people gain through activation of certain areas of brain, maybe. We don't know. And it's like this is all the research that is going on in neuroscience, but there will always be a fight between science and religion. So science will say this is nothing, just a stimulation of certain portions of brain. We can stimulate it with electricity. But how will you do it in a live person? Of course, you can do it in a dead person, but not in the live person. But meditation is done by a live person. So, fight. But the moment you go, religion will cry, miracle, miracle, miracle. Science will say there is no miracle. And at the moment there is something which gets proved, science will prove it on the neuroscientific basis. So this fight will go on. But definitely both science and religion agree that there are certain areas of our thinking which can be unlocked by certain practices like meditations. Yes. रीजन से भी नहीं आएगी. नहीं इसमें सोचा नहीं. इन इंट्यूटिव नॉलेज सोचा नहीं डायरेक्टली. हाँ वही मैं कह रही हूँ, वो नहीं समझ पाएंगे हम. हाँ सिद्धि टाइप का. हाँ तुम लोग देसी भाषा में समझो. देसी भाषा क्या है? So we Indians believe in though that miracle or certain powers, है ना? So supposedly you go to Baba, one Babaji, who has certain intuitive knowledge, and then you go to Babaji and say, Babaji, I am going for the civil services exam. What will happen? इस साल नहीं होगा. नहीं बाबाजी प्लीज अगले साल पक्का हो जाएगा. अच्छा नहीं बाबाजी अच्छा बताएंगे. हाँ अरे रोहतक में पोस्टिंग होगी. रोहतक नहीं बाबाजी तो ऐसे ही बोल रहे हैं. समझ रहे हो? And suddenly if after 2 years 3 years you are actually posted in Rohtak, one day you are sitting and you are like, बाबाजी ने कहा तो सही था. And now you are thinking that how did he know? है ना? And he was not thinking actually. Was Babaji actually doing reason? No. Could he have seen those things through eyes? No. But he got that knowledge from where? Intuitive knowledge. Teesri aankh, all those, the colloquial things that go on. Fine? Intuitive knowledge, of course. Wherever the terms like God, intuitive, God and religion are associated, and even in philosophy, such concepts will come. Intuitive knowledge will come. Okay, in Indian, of course, it will come again. Yogaj. There, its name will become Yogaj. Down, niche karo. We want ma'am's attention. Ma'am, I practice heartful meditation now, more motivated after studying Spinoza's intuitive knowledge. Okay. Yes, meditation helps. Maybe you people can do it for 10 minutes, just. Not much. ज़्यादा भी नहीं करनी चाहिए. हाँ? हाँ, ज़्यादा भी नहीं, but 10 minutes, you should do it, all students. Please bring this matter to ma'am's attention. Last class and this class is almost like we listen to the voice of ma'am and nothing else. Oh, acha. So you people are worried regarding that screen space. I understand we are talking to the developing team of IT. And these people have promised us to resolve this issue in as early as possible in the limited time frame. So we don't know, but yes, they have promised that by today evening or tomorrow, they will resolve it by, I don't know how, but they will do some recoding, decoding, recoding, पता नहीं क्या करेंगे, लेकिन they will do it, है ना? This is underway and undergoing. Okay, anything else? Intuitive knowledge is true knowledge. Yes, for Spinoza it is. So ultimately the aim of Spinoza is that we should move towards that intuitive knowledge, because only then we will be able to realize what is substance. We भाई कौन है? निखिल जीने, निखिल जाइन, you should join media. We want ma'am's attention on this matter again. Okay, ma'am, this can temporarily be resolved if we stop sharing whiteboard screen. Just a suggestion. Can we do that? Try. क्या होगा? ज्यादा से ज्यादा नहीं दिखेगी क्लास? हाँ, ऐसा कर सकते हैं कि हम ना शेयर करें? हाँ, क्या नहीं दिखेगी? एक को नहीं हटाना. हम ये वाइट स्क्रीन की जगह पे नॉर्मल जो हमारे कैमरे से रिकॉर्डिंग हो रही है वो नहीं शेयर कर सकते हैं? ये क्यों दिखा रहे हैं हम? ये तो दिख ही जाएगा ना. मैं वैसे भी कोई इतनी बड़ी थोड़ी ना हूँ कि पूरा भर लूंगी इसको. करके देखो, करके देखो, सिर्फ हमारा कैमरे का फीड जाए, ये नॉर्मल ना जाए. You may have to write just in middle. How is it true knowledge, ma'am? Because it is not based on senses. Yes, this is what. So sense, we have been trained to understand that senses and reason are the true knowledge, but in actuality, the true knowledge, according to Spinoza, is intuitive knowledge. Okay, ma'am, post screen, ma'am, कितनी बार सिस्टम बदले? सब एक जैसे हैं यहाँ पे, सब आईटी फर्म्स एक जैसी हैं. हो गया? स्मॉल स्क्रीन का इशू हमारी साइड से नहीं है, वो एलएमएस के शायद इशू है. एलएमएस का शायद सिस्टम है. मोस्टली इट विल गेट रिजॉल्व्ड इन अ डे और टू, आई थिंक. ओके, लेट अस कंटिन्यू. फाइन. हाँ, क्लियरली यस. और वो आपका स्पेशल टाइम में नहीं अवेलेबल है, बट बॉडी तो समझाने के डिकार्ट में थ्योरी रिएक्ट इंटरैक्शनिज्म. बट जब हम स्पाइनोजा की बात करते हैं तो उसमें मल्टीपल बेस सब्सटेंस के बारे में है. तो फिर उसको कनेक्शन से उसको समझाने के लिए कुछ थ्योरी दी है, मतलब ये हाउ माइंड इंटरैक्ट्स विद बॉडी. कौन सी थ्योरी दी है? नहीं, मैंने कल पढ़ाया है, इसलिए मैं बाकियों से पूछ रही हूँ. कहाँ थे कल? नहीं, कहाँ थे? नहीं, यहाँ बैठे थे, लेकिन थे कहाँ? हाँ, वैसे हम लिखेंगे तो we will do it, don't worry. Okay, so let us write. Continue. Ma'am, we spent our practice answer, sent our practice answer in the new system. Okay, and you people all know that there is a Telegram group from where you can get information regarding all things. Fine. If there is no one, if no one is have joined that group, please join it by messaging on the जो भी है ये chat. Okay. ठीक है? So let us start. Next heading. Or let us continue. Substance. Details कर लो. Substance. Substance is the axiom through which Spinoza deduced all his theory necessarily. Substance is the axiom through which Spinoza deduced all his theory necessarily. First point. Substance is the ultimate metaphysical reality. Substance is the ultimate metaphysical reality. And other things may exist. And other things may exist. Other things may exist as a feature of substance. Other things may exist as a feature of substance. But substance does not exist as a feature of anything else. Does not exist as a feature of anything else. This means substance is absolutely independent. This means substance is absolutely independent. ये वाला point समझ में आ गया? Can you understand this point? That substance is that metaphysical reality which is the core. Everything which will be made up of substance only. So anything you see is a feature of substance, but substance itself is not the feature of anything else. So everything is made up of, if we try to understand, everything is made up of clay. So this clay can have body of a human, it can be made into a cow, it can be made into a table. So anything can be made out of this, but the core remains the clay or the substance. Okay. Second, substance is defined as that which is defined as that which is conceived through itself. Conceived through itself. Full stop. This means idea of substance does not include or involve the idea of any other thing. Does not include or involve the idea of any other thing. Therefore, substance is epistemologically independent. Therefore, substance is epistemologically independent. Deductions. Next heading, deductions based on substance. Deductions based on substance. First point, based on definition, there can be only one substance. Based on definition, there can be only one substance which is infinite and unlimited. Which is infinite and unlimited. Which is infinite and unlimited. Second, Substance is self-determined and self-contained. Substance is self-determined and self-contained. And nothing can affect or modify it. And nothing can affect or modify it. Are you able to catch up with this speed? How many of you are not able to catch up? सब लिख पा रहे हो? हाँ? हाँ, this speed is मतलब good enough, है ना? इस स्पीड पे लिखोगे तो मेंस का पेपर 80-90% तक कंप्लीट हो ही जाएगा. थोड़ी तो अभी बढ़ाएंगे, अभी तो कोर्स शुरू हुआ है. बस ये मत करना आधा घंटा पहले करके रख दिया पेपर. Nothing can affect or modify it. Full stop. Third, God is self-caused. God is self-caused, all-inclusive, and interrelated. Self-caused, all-inclusive, and interrelated. Full stop. According to Spinoza, everything flows from the axiom. According to Spinoza, everything flows from the axiom of substance, from the axiom of substance in a similar way, as sum of all angles in a triangle, sum of all angles in a triangle is 180 degree, flows from the very definition of triangle, Can you understand this line? Anybody is having any problem with this line? Because this is what Spinoza has said, and this is the basis of it. And I have this feeling that someday UPSC will ask this as a direct question. If you can understand it, then philosophy is clear to you. If you have any doubts, ask. Pakka? No doubts? हाँ? हाँ, वही तो मैं बोल रही हूँ. नहीं, मैं समझाती तो मैं वैसे भी, ये तो मैं ऐसे ही बता देती. So the moment you say, if I ask you, what is a triangle? Something that has 3 sides and 3 angles, and the sum of the angle is. So the moment you say triangle, it naturally means this. You know, all this information is inherent. You don't have to think beyond. This is inherent in it, and you can just deduce it. So if I just say any triangle, equilateral triangle, or perpendicular triangle, whatever, but the definition itself means that the angle will be 180 degree. Similarly, the moment I say substance, similarly, like in maths, similarly, it means that substance, all things flow in this world from substance. So the moment I want to explain anything in this world, I can just say substance. Why is this happening in the world? Because this is the nature of substance. What is a triangle? Oh, sorry, why the sum of the three angles is a 180 degree? Because it is a triangle. Why people are doing this? Because it's the nature of substance. Everything flows from the substance. Everything is like, whatever the explanation is, you can always go back to the one source code, substance. Fine. So similarly, can you see that there is this determinism again, which is showing in his philosophy? Isn't it? Determinism, that everything is fixed. That determinism is again coming up. In Spinoza's philosophy, you see it from any angle. You will see determinism. सब कुछ fixed है, fixed है, fixed है, fixed है. You can see that determinism from any and every angle. And because he's a mathematician, what do you expect? Maths, fixed laws, fixed features. So this is, and he translated geometry into metaphysics. Therefore, his metaphysics or his idea of world becomes fixed. Absolutely fixed, like geometry. Therefore, when we criticize geometric method, we said now that he has made the world static, like geometry. And this is the influence of his mathematical background. Okay. Spinoza's substance is equal to Aristotle's substance? No. Is it? Absolutely not. Substance is a generic term. Like इंसान, generic term. है ना? अब इंसान मेल भी हो सकता है, फीमेल भी हो सकता है, बच्चा भी हो सकता है, बहुत सारे क्राइटेरिया हो सकते हैं. Similarly, substance is a very generic term. Substance for Aristotle was formed matter. Substance for Spinoza is this one axiom, which he also known as God. The moment we move on to Leibniz, our next philosopher, substance for Leibniz will become monads. Monads. Then we will move on to Locke. Substance for Locke will become ideas. Then we will move on to Berkeley. Substance for him will become something else. Then Hume, something else. Kant, something. So all of this is what? Same idea, different thoughts. How is the world? What is the world made up of? Can you understand this? Okay. Shall we continue, ma'am? As there are different types of triangles, so is there? Nine. That was just an example. I was just giving you an example. There is only and only one substance. There are no types of substance. Triangle means triangle, nothing else. Okay. No varieties in substance. Those are attributes. Yes, we can say that. Okay, continue. Implications of substance. Implications of substance. Oh, चलो बात करते हैं. कोई बात नहीं. Implications of substance. First, because Spinoza's God is self-caused and infinite. Because Spinoza's God is self-caused and infinite, it is the similar description. It is the similar description like God in theology. Description like God in theology. Full stop. Therefore, Spinoza chose to call his substance as God. Therefore, Spinoza chose to call his substance as God. Further, he wanted to save himself. Further, he wanted to save himself from abstraction. Save himself from abstraction. Full stop. Spinoza's God is impersonalistic and not transcendent. Spinoza's God is impersonalistic and non-transcendent. Rather, it is immanent. Rather, it is immanent. So, God of Spinoza, is he transcendent? Is God of Spinoza out of the world? Out of space and time? Where is the God? Everywhere. Within space and time. Here itself. I am substance or God. This table is substance or God. You are what? Substance or God. Everywhere. So the moment in Hindi, you would say, and if you try to understand in Hindi, कन कन में भगवान है. तो आप जैसे कोई आप बोले कन कन में भगवान है, उसे मिट्टी में भगवान है, yes. बोर्ड में भगवान है, yes. टेबल में है, yes. सब में है. The person you hate उसमें भी है. जो मारा उसमें भी है ना. लेकिन अब आपने अगर सब में भगवान मान लिया, if you understand that everything and everybody is made up of God, are the same substance, and we all are connected. According to Spinoza, we are all connected to that infinite. So the diagram we made last time, this is substance. Of course, we cannot make substance accurately because it doesn't have any finite boundaries. But if we try to make it, all of these are infinite attributes. Two of the attributes are which we can know, even though there are infinite. We can just know only two: extension and cognition. Now these two, are they limited? They also run parallelly and infinitely like rays of sun. Now these are also infinitely there. And only when we capture a small component of it, this is what? A being or a table. This means everything has all the attributes of God. Only two can be known. One is extension and one is cognition. Everything is made up of God or substance. This means that there is some cognitive abilities in vegetables. पता चल गया क्या हम लोगों को? साइंस को पता चल गया? There is some life in vegetables. Yes? किस किस को नहीं पता? कुछ लोग ऐसे देख रहे हैं. There is life in vegetables and fruits. And now science has recently done research and found that plants even have emotions. Who was the scientist from India who discovered it? कौन थे? Someone with good prize? Nobel Prize? Yes, J.C. Bose. He discovered it that plants are living and they respond to the vibration. Now the research has even advanced, and now scientists know that plants even have emotions. Earlier, plants were considered non-living or something which was not part of normal living world. But now we know, maybe after some time we will know that table is also. But this is what Spinoza is trying to make us understand, that there is a small element of cognition in everything. Maybe that cognition is very less, very dormant, but it is. And everything has both, not just this, there are other components also. Of course, we cannot know them. We can never see them. We can never have any sensory experience for them. But for these two, we can sense. We can see extension and we can understand cognition. Even although it is infinite, we are the finite embodiment of cognition and extension. This means that we have finite extension or dimension, and we have the finite cognition. Our cognition is finite, but this doesn't mean that substance has the finite cognition. The cognition of substance is infinite. Clear? Spinoza तो कह रहा है Spinoza के according सब कुछ God से है ना. Everything is made up of God. This means table is made up of God. God has infinite attributes. Of these, we can know only two attributes. One is extension that we can see. Another is it's not appearing to be cognitive, but according to Spinoza, there is some element. Can you understand this? Where is he taking it? This is known as panpsychism. This is known as panpsychism of Spinoza. Panpsychism means everything is cognitive. Everything has cognition. Or in simple terms, everything is living. थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ में आ रहा है? उसका implication थोड़ा भी डाइजेस्ट करने में मुश्किल लगेगा, कोई बात. So when earlier people used to cut vegetables or plants, right? At that time, generally science and other people used to say, okay, plants doesn't get hurt. Do they cry? Do they have any emotions? No. Nobody would have believed that plants had emotions. But now researchers have found that plants have emotions. They can feel anger. They can feel threat. Yes, yes. So especially Jainism believes that. हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल. घर का नाम क्या है तुम्हारा? अमन. और बाहर का? Okay, continue. Can you understand this? That the God of Spinoza is not transcendent but immanent. Okay, continue. Second, all-inclusive nature of God leads to all-inclusive nature of God leads to the philosophy of pantheism. Leads to the philosophy of pantheism. Third, Spinoza says God and nature are identical. Spinoza says that God and nature are identical, comma, nature is governed by eternal laws. Nature is governed by eternal laws. Therefore, according to Spinoza, everything is strictly determined. Everything is strictly determined. And everything is strictly determined, and there is no free will. And there is no free will. Full stop. This leads to the divine determinism of Spinoza. This leads to the divine determinism of Spinoza. Underline divine determinism. Put a box. Question must have been asked and it will be asked. What is the divine determinism of Spinoza? Comment. What is divine determinism? Now tell me. Who all can answer? Try. Try. What is divine determinism of Spinoza? हाथ खड़ा करो. Mobocracy नहीं है ये. If you are confident, raise your hand. Perfect. This is what it is. But how will you write it in answers? Of course. How will you? सवाल कुछ भी है, content यही है. Whatever has been asked. Divine determinism, substance, anything. This is the only theory of Spinoza. You just have to understand from where to start and link it. So if the divine determinism is asked, first you will talk about, then you will talk about nature of substance. The moment nature comes, you talk about determinism. And what is the soul? Divine determinism. लिखवाती हूँ तुम लोगों को. अगली क्लास में हम आंसर्स लिखेंगे. ठीक है? Okay. या फिर we can do one more thing. Let us see some toppers copies. है ना? See, let us see how they are writing. What kind of answers are getting marks? Done? Okay. Because this is what we should be doing. है ना? So in next class, when is the next class? Tomorrow? Okay, let me find out. Tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow, we will see there's some toppers copy and how they have attended to the answers of Descartes and Spinoza. Okay? Let us see this and then you will be better able to understand how to write answers. Fine. Let us complete this. Fourth, Spinoza rejects worshipping as he believes. Spinoza rejects worshipping as he believes there is no requirement to make appeals to God. Rejects worshipping as he believes there is no requirement to make appeals to God. There is no requirement to make appeals to God because God is not a person. Because God is not a person. Full stop. Spinoza has conceptualized God or nature. Spinoza has conceptualized God or nature as fully intelligent and rational. Fully intelligent and rational principle. Fully intelligent and rational principle. That which works on rational, with that which works on rational rules or laws, that which works on rational laws and not emotions, that which works on rational laws and not emotions. अगर क्वेश्चन आ जाए, why Spinoza is against praying? Because he believes in impersonalistic God. According to him, why is that praying doesn't works? Because nobody is hearing. To hear, we need a person or personalistic God. But according to Spinoza, there is no personalistic God. Rather, whatever the system is impersonalistic, which works on rational rules, laws, and not emotions. Like gravity. So, can you say gravity, please don't work on this? Can you do that? We cannot ask gravity, howsoever emotional appeal we make. Gravity will do what it has to do. It will not pay heed to emotions, but because it works on laws. Similarly, according to Spinoza, this world works on laws and not. Therefore, according to him, we should be more rational and not. Oh, next point. According to Spinoza, world is bound in a long chain of. According to Spinoza, world is bound in a long chain of cause and effect. World is bound in a long chain of cause and effect. And every event in nature. And every event in nature is inevitably, according to Spinoza, world is bound in a long chain of cause and effect. And every event in nature is inevitably the result of the preceding event. Is inevitably the result of preceding event. Full stop. In his deterministic theory, and his use of mathematical methods, in his deterministic theory and his use of mathematical methods, Spinoza fails to recognize any purpose. Spinoza fails to recognize any purpose for substance. Fails to recognize any purpose for substance, just as there is no purpose in maths. Just as there is no purpose in maths. So just as there is no purpose in maths, similarly there is no purpose of. Spinoza has not given anything regarding purpose of substance. It's fine, it is working on certain rules. It is fine that the rules are fixed. But what is the ultimate purpose of substance? Is there any purpose? Is it making the world a better place? Is it there for enhancement of people? Yeah. But is there any purpose of life? Has Spinoza talked about any purpose? No. Whatever he's saying feels right, very right. But he fails to give purpose of substance and this world. It's fine, everything is working according to the law. But why? What is the ultimate goal which we want to realize? Jesse, in Plato's philosophy, it was to reach idea of good. In Aristotle's philosophy, it was to reach pure form. But what about Spinoza? Does the Spinoza is not promising anything. और बिना promises के हमारा काम नहीं चलेगा. हाँ? He's not promising anything. He's not promising a better world. He's not promising anything enhancement. So what after? This world is there or we live our life, but what next? Are we just waves? Or are we just triangles in a space? intellectually it is very stimulating, but emotionally devastating, isn't it? Yes. Can you understand what is this criticism about? That yes, you are saying that there are fixed laws, very true, and we can understand that, but you are not telling us the real purpose of substance. If the things are working for the fixed rules, but it's fine, but why are they working in that manner? He hasn't explained the purpose of substance and life. He hasn't made any promises of a better life. He didn't say that, after you achieve this, you will find a heaven. You're not promising any heaven. So intellectually, it is very, what do you say? It's stimulating, but emotionally, we want some promises. General people want promises out of religion and God. People want to pray. People want to pray. Because if you say, भाई इतनी पूजा कर रहे हो कोई नहीं सुन रहा, फिर अचानक से कैसा लगने लगता है? What is the immediate feeling that you get? Abandonment. You feel abandoned, like अच्छा कोई नहीं है, nobody will listen to my what do you say, my prayers, my pains that I am having, or I cannot ask for certain things. So Sigmund Freud, we will see this in philosophy of religion. So Sigmund Freud, how many of you know who is Sigmund Freud? He was a very famous psychologist. Or in simple terms, he said that while we were young, जब हम छोटे छोटे होते हैं, ये क्या हुआ? सिगमंड फ्रॉइड के नाम पे लोग गिर जाते हैं. So, ma'am, can you define how maths have no purpose? Oh, एक और ने दिल पे ले लिया. So there is, okay. Is it good or bad? Tell me, is it good or bad? Huh? Acha, how many of you say 2 plus 2 is good? Huh? How many? Raise your hand. Can you say this? 2 rapists plus 2 murderers is equal to 4 criminals. Is it good? But you said 2 plus 2, 4 is good. Isn't it? When we are talking about pure maths is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Is it good? Is it bad? No. Neither good, neither bad. It has no purpose. What is the purpose of 2 plus 2? Where will it lead to you? Any promise of heaven? Any purpose? No purpose. Ma'am, he just justified what we see around. Yes. That is why there is a criticism in Spinoza that people need some psychological solace. We were on the Sigmund Freud, right? So Sigmund Freud says that we all as young people are accustomed to looking at our fathers, and we just see them as perfect. If we want anything, we can go to them and we can ask for anything. We can tell whatever is coming to our mind to that person who is our father, and this father becomes the the power center to us. Power center in the sense that we see him as a very powerful person, that he will give us anything and everything, whatever we want. And that was true also, because when we were young, we only wanted balloons and candies. He could give us the balloons and candies. But the moment we grew up, the desires changed. Now we wanted selections and some other things in life. But now he can't give it. Because then we realize that he's not all powerful. He has his own limitations. This psychological part of ours, which still wants to rely on something powerful, tries to search for a person or a being or a thing which is all powerful. And this desire to reach to something which is all powerful leads us to God. Now, in place of Father, we place a figure like who we imagine is all powerful, who will listen to all our thoughts that are pray. Okay. मुझे लगा memes. अच्छा. Okay. So it can, hear all the things that we want to say and will give us whatever we want. This is the interpretation of Sigmund Freud. Fine. So, similar conception is accepted by Spinoza. According to him, that there is no one who will listen to us. Okay, fine. Continue. तो तुम्हें तो वहां से बटन ही दबाना है. चलो. भाई साहब इतने हाईटेक बच्चे हो गए ना आजकल. नाम ही जस्ट हाँ तुमने देख लिया. Okay, let us continue. So purpose समझ में आ गया? If the question comes that there is no purpose in Spinoza's philosophy, you understand what he's asking about? What the question is about? Content वही है. Content is not changing. Question is, you just have to modulate the content according to the question. Same content. So if you have read Ramayana once, whether I ask you, how is Ram as a Raja? How is Ram as a son? How is Ram as a husband? The content remains. You just modulate according to the character. Similarly, Spinoza's content remains same. You modulate it according to the question. Okay. Next point. 6. Spinoza distinguishes between Spinoza distinguishes between God or nature. Spinoza distinguishes between God or nature. Spinoza distinguishes between God or nature into two distinct forms. First, nature in its productive aspects. Nature in its productive aspects is God. Nature in its productive aspects is God with its divine attributes. With its divine attributes or attitudes. This stage is known as natura naturans. Naturans. ब्रैकेट में लिख लो नेचर नर्चरिंग. नेचुरा मतलब नेचर, नेचुरांस मतलब नर्चरिंग. Second, nature in its derivative or produced form. Nature in its derivative or produced form comma, that which is identified with the system of modes, that which is identified, क्या मिस हो गया क्या? अच्छा जल्दी लिख लिया तुम लोगों ने. That which is identified with this system of modes, that which is identified with this system of modes is known as natura naturata. Natura naturata. Nature nurtured. Nature nurtured. So what is this natura naturans and natura naturata? So when you start looking at things from the substance point of view, it is natura naturans. And when you start looking at things from the modes perspective, it is natura naturata. In simple terms, अगर substance को substance की तरह देखोगे, तो वो क्या है? Natura naturans. When you look at things from substance perspective, when I talk about clay, then natura naturans. And when I start talking about figures, that ye dekho, this doll is so beautiful, this table is so nice, this board is so cute, whatever. When we are talking about these figures, what we are talking about? Natura naturata. And when I start saying that all of this is made up of just clay, and this clay is having the features like this, then natura naturans. समझ में आ रहा है? It is just the difference of point of view. Everything is made up of clay only. When we start looking at the clay, it is natura naturans. And we start looking at the modes. Modes are what? Modifications of that clay. When we start looking at this, it is natura naturata. Different stages only. Or different, rather not even stages. Different point of views only. So when we are looking at the clay, we are talking about the clay, how everything is made up of clay, natura naturans. When we are not talking about the clay, but we are talking about the modes, simple modifications that we are seeing is natura naturata. Simple. Read this again and ask if there is any doubt. Modes are not yet produced. Modes are not yet produced. When it is just a clay, productive. It has a capability of production, productive. Produced, when they have been modified into clay. So produced form. So natura naturans and natura naturata, you have understood? They are no two different things. They are talking about the same thing only, but from different perspective. From different perspective. Like I can talk to you about different perspective. If I talk that you are made up of atoms, then that is scientific. So that is natura naturans. But now if I talk about your features, your height, your this, then this means I'm talking about natura naturata. Something which has been produced. Modes, modification that has been done. When we talk about that, natura naturata. Okay? Okay. Next heading, doctrine of attributes. Doctrine of attributes. Doctrine of attributes. First, attributes are essences of substance. Attributes are essences of substance. Or qualities or features of substance. Qualities or features of substance. Second, substance is infinite with infinite number of attributes. Substance is infinite with infinite number of attributes. And each attribute expresses the essence of substance. Each attribute expresses the essence of substance infinitely. Substance is infinite. How many attributes are there? And each attribute is expressed infinitely. समझ में आ रहा है? Any doubt in this? Any doubt? Move further. Okay. Third, out of these infinite attributes, comma, finite human beings, bracket में लिख लो embodied spirits. Embodied spirits. Finite human beings can perceive only two. Finite human beings can perceive only two. First, extension. Second, thought. First is extension. Second is thought. Fourth, in simple words, we can understand attributes as language or languages, can understand attributes as languages in terms of which we can speak or think about reality. Speak or think about reality of the substance. Speak or think about the reality of substance. It is only through attributes we can know substance, and we can know only two attributes. So whatever substance we can know, or whatever, so just like anything about, we can know about anything only through language. Similarly, we can know about substance only through attributes. So we can compare that attributes are the languages through which we can know the substance. This is the comparison that has been made. Next, both of these attributes are independent to each other. Both of these attributes are independent to each other and do not limit each other. And do not limit each other. Do not limit each other. Next, each attribute is infinite in its own way. Each attribute is infinite in its own way. That is, each attribute is capable of, expressing God infinitely. Each attribute is capable of expressing God infinitely. दिमाग चला के लिख रहे हो ना, है ना? You have to think while you are writing. Don't write mindlessly. Don't write mindlessly. Read and think while you are writing. Keep your mind open and see if there is any doubt. You will ask me. Okay? Done? Next. So, what does it mean that each attribute will express God infinitely? इसका एग्जाम्पल कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन आपको समझ आ गया ना, तो बताओ. In simple terms, God has infinite extension and infinite cognition. This is it. Okay, next. So, according to Spinoza, extension and thought are parallel to each other. They are independent. They do not interfere with each other. They do not interfere with each other, and they do not limit each other. मतलब limit क्यों करेगा? These are the same qualities. These are the qualities of the same substance. Why will they limit each other? They are not interacting with each other. Therefore, they are independent. Means that basically they will not interact with each other. It's not that body will interfere with extension and extension will interfere with thought, cognition. So you may write, if you are troubled with the word limit, you can write they will not interact with each other. We can change words accordingly. If we understand, then we can express it. Okay, next. These two attributes belong to the same single all-inclusive reality. These two attributes belong to the same single all-inclusive reality. That is God. That is God. Yet, these two attributes do not interact. Yet, these two attributes do not interact, but run parallel to each other. But run parallel to each other. Full stop. They are like two sides of coin. They are like two sides of coin, or two rays of sun, or two rays of sun, or two banks of a river, or two banks of a river, etc. Okay? So these two do not interact with each other and run parallelly to each other. Examples like two banks of a river, two rays of a sun, two sides of a coin. So can you separate two sides of a coin? You cannot separate because it is part of the same coin. But yet you can identify these two faces. The moment you are seeing the heads, you do not see the tails. It's समझ रहे हैं? It's absolutely different from each other, yet part of the same reality or same thing. Similarly, cognition and extension are run parallelly and yet do not interact. समझ में आ रही है बात? Ma'am, but sun rays are infinite, but coin has It's not the direct, it's only the example. Just as 2 coins, the faces are part of the same reality, yet they are different. Similarly, the attributes are, there are infinite attributes, and these 2 attributes are also part of this substance, yet they do not interact but run parallelly to each other. देखो exact example हो ही नहीं सकता इसका. Can there be exact examples in the theory? No. Why not? Because there is no exact example of infinite cognition. It's an abstract idea. Only thing we can know is finite cognition, because we have seen only finite cognition. We are embodied spirits. We are very limited. We can know only limited things. It's very difficult for us to even imagine infinite. So that is why there cannot be ever example. Only way we can use is analogies here and there. बिल्कुल सन वाला एग्जाम्पल ज्यादा बेहतर है ऑफ कोर्स, बट अब उसने दिया है तो लिख लो. कोई बात नहीं, more examples the merrier. But yes, and he has actually given the analogy of sun rays only, in the sense more broadly. Okay. Next, to explain this world and working of both attributes, to explain this world and working of both attributes, Spinoza gave his theory of, to explain the world and the working of both attributes, Spinoza gave his theory of modes, gave his theory of modes. That is, for every mode of extension, there is a corresponding mode of thought. For every mode of extension, there is a corresponding mode of thought. Then write note. Spinoza has defined attribute as that which intellect perceives as constituting the essence of substance. Constituting the essence of substance. अब इस डेफिनेशन को ध्यान से पढ़ेंगे हम. That which intellect perceives. किसको पता चल रहा है कि एट्रीब्यूट्स होते हैं? किसको पता चल रहा है? इंटेलेक्ट को. इंटेलेक्ट से ही पता चल रहा है ना. We are able to decipher that extension and thought through our intellect only. So that which intellect perceives as constituting the essence of substance. This means that it is through our intellect we can find only 2 attributes. Now there was this debate among philosophers. The moment Spinoza तो अपनी definition देके चले गए. Spinoza wrote his definition in his books and then he died. After that, people became really excited about his theories and everything. And now there was this fight among philosophers whether Spinoza believed that attributes were real or whether he believed that attributes were only illusions and mind only perceived them. Can you understand the debate? क्या असलियत में सब्सटेंस के पास एट्रीब्यूट्स हैं या फिर ऐसा लगता है कि सब्सटेंस के पास ये दो एट्रीब्यूट्स हैं? एक डिबेट छिड़ गई। डिबेट समझ में आ रही है? थोड़ी 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 मुश्किल है डिबेट, लेकिन एक डिबेट छिड़ गई। इस डिबेट के बारे में हम लोग जब हम लेक्चर फिनिश कर लेंगे तब बात करेंगे, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, बट येट I think we should know about it because it's a debate between idealists and realists. So we will do after we finish it. Okay. Something related to that one. A little bit, but not exactly similar. Okay. हाँ, but you write it. तो हम लोग इसको आखिरी में एक बार डिस्कस करेंगे। मैं इसलिए फ्लो नहीं तोड़ना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि अगर हमने वो डिबेट यहाँ लिखी तो जो एट्रीब्यूट्स और मोड्स, you know, the how our answer should come as from attributes to theory of modes, that will get broken. Okay, continue. Criticism. बताओ क्या क्रिटिसिज्म है थ्योरी ऑफ एट्रीब्यूट्स का? एनी क्रिटिसिज्म अबाउट थ्योरी ऑफ एट्रीब्यूट्स? Theory of attributes only. Any problem? Yes. So no, not exactly that, but yes. So there are infinite attributes. Then why do we know only two? Why only two? What is the reason? Not explained by Spinoza. If there are infinite, and if we can know only two, how do you know they are infinite? If we can perceive only two, then how did Spinoza know that there are infinite attributes? Likh lo. First, when there are infinite attributes, then why can we know only two? Fine. Next. And other part also you can write. That other part we discussed. Likh liya? Okay. Second, why indeterminate? Why indeterminate substance should have any attribute at all? Why should indeterminate substance should have any attribute at all? So Spinoza has earlier told that substance is indeterminate. But indeterminate, say, what was his meaning? By indeterminate, Spinoza meant that we cannot determine the one quality in substance. We cannot say that substance is red, white, or blue. Because the moment I say the substance is blue, it will mean substance is not red, green, and purple. This is what? That is why he says every determination is a negation. That the moment you try to determine substance, you will negate a lot of other qualities. That is why he said that substance is indeterminate. Indeterminate and indescribable. This is what he said. That substance is indeterminate. You cannot determine it. And therefore it is indescribable. That is why you cannot describe it, because you cannot determine it. इन लोगों ने क्या कर दिया क्रिटिसिज्म में? If it is indeterminate, this means there is no quality. Then why should it have any quality? बहुत बेकार सा है, बहुत बेकार क्रिटिसिज्म है. But this is the criticism. that why should indeterminate substance should have any attribute. आपने कह दिया हम जान नहीं सकते, तो क्वालिटी क्यों मान रहे हो? जब बता नहीं सकते तो क्यों मान रहे हो कोई क्वालिटी भी है उसमें? समझ रहे हो? If you cannot talk about any quality, then how can you accept any quality? This is the criticism. Okay, next. Mind-body parallelism excludes. Mind-body parallelism excludes both materialism and idealism. Excludes both materialism and idealism. What is materialism? Matter is superior, or you explain all the mind activities based on matter. So matter is superior. Example, science. So they explain love, meditation, friendship on the basis of chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, and cortisols, all of this. And idealism means when mind is taken as a superior being and matter is subordinated. So these are the idealists, are the people who believe that there are only spirits and ideas. In Berkeley we will see there are only spirits and ideas. Matter is just illusion, or matter is just the feeling of it. In essence, there is no matter. Whatever we are seeing is just the creation of our mind. It might be appearing a little odd right now, but science has been researching about it. And to understand it in a simple manner, how many of you have ever gone in those how many of you have ever understood artificial intelligence, virtual reality, all of these things, augmented reality? So there is this concept of virtual reality. Virtual reality means so supposedly I create a virtual reality gloves for you. There is if I create a virtual reality gloves for you, and if I program my computer, और आपकी आंखों पर पट्टी बांध दी जाए और आपके ग्लव्स को ऐसे ही मतलब प्रोग्राम कर दिया जाए, तो आपको सेंसेशंस मिलेंगे. यू विल रिसीव द सेंसेशंस ऑफ हॉट potato in your hand, even though there is no potato, neither there is something hot, but you will feel that you are holding a hot potato because of specific nerve sensations. So in essence, we just have to give you the nerve sensations and your mind will interpret it as an object. Can you understand this? So is there a potato in your hand? But you feel potato because sensations are in mind. So in essence, so people who are idealists believe that there are only two things, sensations and mind. There is no potato actually, or there is no matter actually. समझ में आया? थोड़ा रेवोल्यूशनरी है. हमें साइंस से इसलिए ले जाना पड़ता है, मैं बेचारे फिलॉसफी से बताऊंगी तुम्हें समझ नहीं आएगा. Can you understand this concept? हाँ, तो तुम्हें क्या पता कि ये, तुम्हें कैसे पता ये रियल है? कैसे पता कि ये रियल है? The people who take how many of you have had dreams? All of them, all of you. So when you are in dreams, do you know that you are in dream? But if it's a very strong dream, नहीं पता लगता ना. You feel everything is happening for real. Even if you are thirsty in dreams, you are actually feeling thirsty. And it's only after you wake up that you realize that it was a dream. But then how do you know this is real? समझ में आ रहा है? चलो ठीक है. हाँ, yes, somebody is saying शंकराचार्य philosophy है शायद ये. हाँ, बिल्कुल. This is some thoughts Shankaracharya, in Shankaracharya's philosophy we will study. And don't worry, but yes, can you understand what idealism means? Can you understand now? And when Spinoza is talking about parallelism, both extension and thought, or body or mind, now both are running parallel. No one is superior. He excludes materialism also, and he excludes idealism also, because he has made both of them equal as an attribute. Can you understand this? Okay. Continue. Substance cannot be both extended and unextended. Substance cannot be both extended and unextended. Extension means extension, and thought means unextended. How can these two be together? Criticism. But he has already told that substance can have infinite qualities, and qualities can also be contradictory. This is the unique nature of substance. This he has explained. But बुराई करने वाले को कौन रोक सकता है ना? You cannot control the criticizers. Harmoniously, yes. Doctrine of modes. Next heading, doctrine of modes. Doctrine of modes. First, Spinoza has given his doctrine of modes to Spinoza has given his doctrine of modes to explain the world of finite things, and individual beings. World of finite things and individual beings. Second, modes are modifications of substance. Modes are modifications of substance or changeable identities of substance. Changeable identities of substance. Therefore, they are dependent. Therefore, they are dependent on substance for their existence. Therefore, modes are dependent on substance for their existence. Modes are dependent on substance for their existence. Third, modes are substance. Modes are to substance. Modes are to substance as waves, bubbles, or ripples are to sea. What waves, bubbles, or ripples are to sea? Are to sea. So, just like waves, bubbles, ripples are connected to sea, similarly, humans, animals, plants, trees, rocks, mountains, all of these are to substance. So just as waves, bubbles and ripples are just the modifications of sea, just the modification of sea, isn't it? Similarly, all of whatever we see is the modification of substance. This is the finite. This is the finite modification of a relatively infinite thing. It's not infinite, relatively. Similarly, this is the finite modification of something infinite. To explain how everything came into being, how table, I, everything is what this table, I and everything is made up of. He gave his theory of modes. So what are we? We are modes. This table is modes. Modes means modification of substance. What am I? What? Mode. A modification of substance. I am finite. I am just the finite portion of something infinite. Space is infinite, but the moment I make a triangle, it does what? It makes the space finite in this dimension. Space is infinite, but when we make this room, it creates a finite space, isn't it? In this room, there is this finite space which has been created out of, which has been modified out of infinite space. But if we remove the walls, then where will this space go? Merge back into the existing infinite space. समझ में आया? So if we try to understand it in levels, highest reality is substance, which has infinite attributes. We can know only 2 attributes. So at the attribute level, so this is theory of substance. When he starts defining or talking about these 2 attributes, this becomes his theory of attributes. And when he starts defining the relationship between body and mind, this becomes his theory of parallelism. And when he starts talking about finite modifications of this substance or these 2 attributes, this means he's talking about man, plant, rocks, etc. This becomes his theory of modes. कोई सी भी theory है लिखनी, you have to write all, but in different proportion. If theory of substance is asked, you will of course tell. If theory of substance is asked, can you not write attribute? You will have to write attributes. You will have to write modes. You will have to explain this. Of course, theory of parallelism you will just mention. You will not write extensively. But if theory of modes is asked, will you directly start with modes? First, you will have to tell about substance, then attributes, and then you will come to modes. So, whatever the question is, we have to write all. But intelligence lies in proportion. What to write, how much to write, and where to write. Simple terms. Fine? Okay, continue. 4th, modes cannot exist without substance. Modes cannot exist without substance, but substance can exist without modes. But substance can exist without modes. Just as figures cannot exist without clay, but clay can exist without figures. समझ में आ रही है ना बात? Okay. चाहो तो लिख लो एग्जाम्पल ये वाला भी, क्ले वाला भी, नहीं तो भूल जाओगे अभी. देखो, why do we write notes? Because classes get over in 5 months, है ना? But exams are in May में prelims है. almost 1+ years, right? So if the more expressive and extended notes you have, better it is for you. Better. Of course, we will keep conducting revision. Don't worry. It's not that you will forget. I will keep whenever you people will approach your mains, we will keep a revision class. Don't worry about that. Answer writing practice, etc. We will try to keep. Nothing is promised, but it will be there. Don't kill me if something happens and we are not able to give this. So it's not a promise, but it's what we will try to do. So in simple essence, you have to write notes in a very expressive format, because when you read them, all these examples should come to your mind immediately. Okay. For online students, online offline, no difference. एक माँ के दो बच्चे, no difference. Online people are always in FOMO. They always feel they are missing out on something. Nothing we will miss. Ma'am, as modifications are better versions of original things, so it is with Spinoza's mode. No. It's not about better or worse. Just like, can you say that figures are better than clay? There is no comparison. Clay is the basic substance out of which figures are made. So you cannot compare. Niche karo. What do you mean by doctrine? Doctrine is just the theory. And a doctrine of modes or theory of modes. Same thing. Just the terminology. Niche karo. Though he calls himself as monist, but he asserts that everything is substance, then his theory of infinite attributes contradict with his monism. No, we cannot say monism. He's saying there is only one reality, but the qualities are infinite. The realities are not infinite. One reality is having infinite qualities. So in that sense, monism is not affected. But yes, if you really want to criticize Spinoza, then of course you can say, why to accept infinite attributes? So it's like, if you really want to criticize, you can. Next point, modes are mere affections and modifications of substance. Modes are mere modifications and affections. Affections. This term is also used, modifications or affections of substance. Affect karna. Ye wo wala affection nahi hai, that I feel affection for you. It is affect karna. Ma'am, and as stable chair are non-living, but according to Spinoza, they are living. So is it the अभी करेंगे criticism. रुको तो सही. Criticism पे तो आए नहीं हैं हम. Next. Modes of conscious. Modes of conscious quality. Modes of conscious quality are intellect and will. या फिर conscious quality of modes is, इसको थोड़ा सा reorient कर लो. Conscious quality of modes are intellect and will. Conscious quality of modes are intellect and will. Extension quality of modes are motion and rest. Extension qualities of modes are motion and rest. So how is extension expressed in reality according to Spinoza as motion and rest? And how is this thought expressed according to him as intellect and will? This is just the expression of extension and expression of thought. So according to him, because he was also a physicist, he was very much concerned with motion and rest and all those principles of inertia, motion, acceleration, etc., etc. Therefore, this motion and rest he has explained in great detail, but those details are not important for us. For us, we have to understand that how this extension is expressed through motion or rest. There are things which are in continuous motion. Why is there nothing as in continuous motion? Because there is this principle of rest. Why things which are in rest move? Because there is also a principle of motion. Then again, there is these two principles, intellect and will. So in people like us, in modes like us, we have both intellect as well as will. If we are very intelligent, but we have no will to do anything though, then intellect is also not useful. If we have will but no intellect, again, nothing gets done. So this is what his theory is. Okay. Next heading, world. World. Dunya. World. Next heading, world. World. For Spinoza, mind is the idea of body. For Spinoza, mind is the idea of body.